Here it is, guys, my first Jackson US Custom Shop soloist. I've been waiting to get one of these for like 20 years. I've been wanting one of these. Let me give you some quick specs on this. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I'm sending it back, and I'm incredibly disappointed in the Custom Shop's fit and finish and quality of work. They absolutely rushed this thing and took no pride in making it, and it's absolutely disgusting for a guitar that costs $3,800. It's just ridiculous. So the quick specs on it: we got a roasted mahogany body, a roasted 3-piece maple neck, ebony board, mother of pearl inlays, and headstock inlay. Duncan JB 59 original Floyd Rose. It's got the EVH freaking pots. The tone one is a high tension and the volume is a low tension. And listen, doesn't that just sound nasty? I hate these pots. I absolutely hate. The low tension is way too low and the high tension is way too high. They suck. On the back, there is a tremolo note, which is pretty cool that it came with that. It comes with a cool cutout. It's got the black brushed aluminum plates on there. It's a bitchin' looking guitar. Like, look at this little bit of figuring. This one actually came with Godot tuners. So I got this one from a music store which custom orders models as limited runs. They order, one or two at a time and have them. And this thing's pretty much spec'd as I would want it. It's got the Luminlay side dots. This is pretty much what I would order if I was going to order a Custom Shop Jackson and, wait 2 years or whatever for it. So I was thinking, hey, this is a great deal, man. I got to jump on this. It's probably a couple grand cheaper than it would cost to order a Custom Shop one. And I don't have to wait 2 years. I can get it, a week later, wait in the mail. So, a little background. I build guitars for a living. I work in a small guitar factory building guitars. And I know everything that's wrong with this because I spend 8 hours a day working on guitars and inspecting them and finding flaws and fixing them. So I know what it would have taken to make this thing absolutely perfect. And it would have been probably about a half an hour of work to make this absolutely perfect. But now this is going back to the store where I bought it, and they are sending it back to Jackson. They are just as disappointed as I am, and they've been really good to me, so I'm not going to call them out. In fact, I'm going to flip that over. I'm not going to call them out and say what store it was, because they've treated me really, really well and taken care of me. They've made the situation right. This is all on Jackson. So number one, those pictures of where there's it gets all cloudy right here. Have you seen that before? Or on the headstock logo? This was built a month ago, and look at how the clear it's not sitting right on the end. I don't know if there was some kind of contaminant in there, but that clear is not sitting on there well, and it's going to get worse over time. As the wood expands and contracts, it's going to get worse, and it's going to look like shit. Probably within a year. Number two, you see that hole? Okay, you see that dark outline around the inlay? They cut the hole a little too big for the inlay and they filled it in with ebony and probably CA glue or something. Pretty common stuff. That happens all the time with guitars. That's kind of how it goes. With modern CNC machines, they should have been able to cut it perfect and not had that big of a gap. But that hole is where they didn't fill it all the way. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Number two, edges of the frets are sharp. They did dress them and polish them, but they did not do a very good job. These are sharp. This would not fly where I work. It absolutely would not fly. These are way too sharp. Very uncomfortable. Let's see. Number three. I'm going to stop listing numbers because I'm going to lose track of them. You see all the stuff down by the frets? That's leftover finish they didn't fill up. So when they finish it, they tape off the fretboard to try to prevent as much finish from getting on the fretboard as possible, and then they detape it, after it's done being finished, and then they're supposed to clean up the board, but check to make sure the frets are level. They're not, but they're very close, so I think it's probably just the wood that's expanded and contracted. And then dress the frets, polish them up, make sure the board's all good, and then it goes to, the string up area where they install the bridge and string it up and do the setup and everything. Setup on this is great. I don't know if it's from the store I got it from or from Jackson, but the setup is fantastic. It's the best setup I've ever gotten on a new guitar. Action is nice and low. Intonation spot on. It's great. The Floyd is actually leveled right, and this came from across the country, and it was a little flat all the way across the board, but all the strings were in tune to themselves. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, glue all over the fretboard. There's a ton of glue. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. You probably won't. Down in here, there's a ton of glue. It's either glue or finish. I'm guessing it's most likely just leftover finish they didn't clean up. All along in here, you can't really see it on the video, but it is definitely there. The pickups, I don't understand why they're all scratched up. I'm pretty sure when you get them OEM, they have a plastic cover on them. Why wouldn't they just leave that on? Why are they so scratched? I don't know. Let's see. That's pretty much it for the top. Oh, there are some light scratches in here. These are really light, and most people would never notice them. So I'm gonna go with this is me being nitpicky. You can kind of see them right here. They're very light. There's a couple little orbitals in here, right here, left over from the orbital sander. It's not, yeah, there you go. Now you can see them. I don't know, man. If you're not really looking, you're never gonna see that. So that might just be me being nitpicky and trying to look for these flaws. Okay, on the side, I'm not gonna flip this thing on the side because I'm actually going to ship this back in a couple minutes. I do not want to damage this thing because I want all my money back. On the sides here, first of all, these inlays are poking out. So when you're, going down the fretboard, if you keep your thumb up here, you can feel them, and that's kind of annoying. They should have made that flush. I don't know why they didn't scrape that. Can you see the finish left right here? There's a bunch of it up here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's there. You can feel it, you can see it. This is just really rough right here. There's like a dip in here when they were scraping. They like dipped in and then tried to smooth it out or something. I don't know, it just looks like this whole little corner right here just looks like crap. It was rushed. It was absolutely rushed. What else we got on the side? Nothing else. This corner, me personally, I would have spent just an extra couple seconds to make that look good. They didn't. That's kind of here nor there. That's me being picky and being a perfectionist. Oh, there's another scratch. Every time I look at this thing, I find more problems. This is a scratch under the finish. Okay, so let me flip it over real quick, and we'll look at the back. I'm doing this extremely carefully because I do not want to mess this thing up. Okay, back of the headstock, good. And it's cool that it came with Goto tuners, by the way. Usually you get the Jackson brand ones. It seems kind of cheap. Like, why wouldn't they just put name brand ones on there? It seems more high-end. There are some light, very light scratches above the surface up here. Definitely not from me. Not that big of a deal. This is a scratch under the surface. Looks like a fingernail from somebody. Looks like somebody's fingernail. Another one right here. Don't know how you can see that. And this is where it gets really bad. I don't know how well you can see. Can you see the reflection? How there's just little spots all over that reflect differently. I don't know if that's extra finish or if that's glue or what that is, but it's all over the neck. Oh, there's a new scratch. That one's very minor, but it's there. Now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. You know what I mean? Okay, this right here, this dark spot, this is a dent in the neck that they finished over. So the person finishing it, this is, I actually emailed Jackson because I was curious what kind of finish this is because it's beautiful and it feels really nice on the skin, and I want to use it again, and I was curious if I ever had to refinish this. I actually emailed him before I got it because I was curious about what it was, because it just said oil finish on the ad. I didn't know exactly what it was. So they use this stuff called Good Stuff. It's a gel polyurethane like wipe-on finish that you apply with your hands. You put gloves on and just rub it on with your hands. So the person applying this should have felt that. It's a good sized dent, and to get that out, you're gonna have to sand the neck down and reshape the neck, and you're gonna have to blend that out. You can't just like cut like that. You gotta blend it and make it feel like it's not even there. So this one is even worse. This is multiple dents. You see all that? You can, I wish I could let you feel this thing through the camera, because those are deep and you feel those with your thumb. So every time you go for those high frets, you're gonna feel, I guess it depends on how you play. Some people are down here, some people are up here. That's unacceptable. Let's see if I can get these scratches to show up on camera. These are a little more noticeable, especially in the right light. You see these? That's like 150 grit or something, sandpaper. They just didn't take it out. They didn't take the time to take care of that. It's really not showing up very well on camera, but it's a lot more obvious than it looks for sure. This knot here, where I work, we always fill knots. It just looks done, it looks professional, it looks finished. Leaving the knot open does not. I personally don't care. I think it's cool that it's open. I like it better, but it seems like most people would think that that is unfinished. Okay, down here, you can already see them. Let's focus. There we go. You see all these round marks? Those are orbitals from the orbital sander. And here's some just straight scratches going sideways. That's just sloppy technique with the orbital and really sloppy inspection. This is really noticeable. To me, I think to most people would be able to see that and be like, hey, what the hell, man? This is a $4,000 guitar. And then the more you look, the more you see, you know, little light scratches all over the place. This is a dent that was done before it was finished. That definitely happened somewhere in the factory. That would have taken them, you know, just a couple minutes to take out. All they really had to do was get a piece of, you know, a paper towel wet and stick it on there and stick an iron on there for a couple seconds. And it would have popped out most of the way, and you could have just sanded out the rest. And while they were at it, they could have taken out the rest of these scratches. Look, there's another one right here. This one's pretty small, but with the contrast of the finish, you know, in decent light, you can see that. It's pretty obvious. Let's see, what else we got on the back? There's a couple other scratches. There's a couple other little orbitals like that, just random. That's the worst of it. There's some scratches right here. Can you see that? Those ones are fine. But they're going across the grain. They're not going with the grain. So it doesn't, you know, if they were going with the grain, it would just look like it's grain. It would just, you know, yeah. I think most people would just leave that, you know, at any guitar factory. And that would be fine because you can't tell. It just looks like grain, you know, big deal. So that's pretty much it for that. What else was there? There's more, man. I just don't remember what it is. There's just so many issues with this thing. Structurally, it's totally sound. The feel of it is amazing. It feels really nice in your hand. The neck is just outstanding. It is the best neck I've ever felt in my life. It feels amazing. It looks amazing. It's spec'd exactly the way I would want it. And the serial number, this is going back to Jackson. I don't know if they're gonna refinish it and take all the scratches and dents out and refinish it and make it nice and then sell it again or something. But the serial number is J9734. In case you see this one again. If this is yours and they refinished it, you got lucky because this is a great guitar. It's just, the attention to detail is just absolutely sloppy. They were rushing this thing to get it out. They were not paying any attention to detail. They were saying, oh, fuck it, it's good enough. No one will notice, whatever. You know, they were just trying to get out the door. And that's bullshit, man, for something this price. You know, you're paying for a quality-made guitar, not some slop-together thing. Look at this $700 Ibanez. Do I have any of those problems on this? No, not a single one. There's a couple spots where there's contaminants in the finish. You know, you can see a little bit of dust under the finish, but it's $700. It's not $3,800. That's acceptable. You know, the binding, there's a couple spots they didn't scrape all the way. They left a little bit of, just a tiny bit of finish on there. You know, not a big deal. It's acceptable. It's a $700 guitar. It's made in Indonesia. This is made in America. This is supposed to be, you know, finally, you know, skilled craftsmen making a quality instrument, and they just rushed through this. The design is fantastic. The basic build that CNC machines did is fantastic. The specs are fantastic. The look and feel is fantastic. The finish is fantastic. But the human part, the attention to detail, the making something from nothing and making it beautiful and putting pride into your work and having something you can be proud to hand to your customer and say, I made this, is just non-existent. This is, you know, God, I can't wait to get home and fucking drink a beer. This is bullshit. I don't want to be here. You know, that's the vibe this guitar has. And it's really fucking sad because this thing is stunning. And it's my goddamn dream guitar, and I paid a lot of money for it, and I'm fucking sad I have to send it back, man. It's sad. I'm incredibly disappointed. So if you guys have had any issues with Jackson Custom Shop, let me know. This is my first Jackson Custom Shop. It's the first one I've ever seen in person. Yeah, let me know what your experience with these is. These are my favorite guitars, man. It's the best headstock shape, it's the best neck, it's the best body, it's the best look. I love the inlays. I love everything about it except for the craftsmanship, the attention to detail. It's just, there's so many little things. You know, like I said, if they were to spend an extra half an hour on this thing while they were making it, maybe even 15 minutes, it would have been perfect. It would have been great. I would be so happy right now. The tone of this video would be completely different. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your Jacksons if you get one. I hope yours is better than this one because this is absolutely bullshit.